Everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is Helen from helensheartcreations.com. I am absolutely loving the new in colours from Stampin' Up that will come out on June the 4th. We've got 5 as usual, 5 new in colours: Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, Peacock, Pretty Peacock. I have to get used to the names here. And the Seaside Spray and Terracotta Tile. Now they just complement each other as well as the core colors that we already have in the Stampin' Up range. And so what I'm doing here is I'm making a set of 5 cards that will look beautiful together and will could go together as a gift, put them in one of our acetate boxes or make your own box. And it just be a stunning gift to receive. And you can make them all slightly different. I've used the In Color Designer Series paper on the inside, so as usual we have those that they match. All our colors have this Designer Series paper that matches. There are 4 designs, and you get a pack of 40 for $10.25, I think it is. Also, of course, we have all the matching cardstock, and there are faceted dots in each of the colors. And when the catalog goes live, there will also be blends and markers as well. And there is another Designer Series pack that also complements, always coordinates with these colors. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to make the other 2. I've kind of been a bit lazy, and I have already stamped and cut out the Seaside Spray, but I haven't yet done it for the Terracotta Tile, so you'll see me do that. The stamp set I'm using is also new. It's Daisy Lane, and this, you may notice, it actually is complements, is an addition to one that came out a couple of years ago called Daisy Delight, and it came out with the Daisy Punch. This Daisy Punch, which you may already have in your stash, will coordinate with this set for this daisy here. Also coming out in the beginning of June is going to be a smaller punch, so we can actually use these daisies as embellishments to set off, or to give, when you punch something out, you get the shapes and you get dimension to your card. So and I'm going to use, for the stem, if you see here, I'm using the stem from here. I'm just going to put this one on here, take this one out, and I have used one of our existing colors called Soft Sea Spray, which I have left on the other side of the room. Excuse me one moment. Soft Sea Spray came out last year as part of the colour revamp. It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks quite pale, but it's actually quite a good strong colour. It's not a dark colour, but it does stamp out well, as you will see. Now, one of the things that you can do is, I've just done each of these separately by hand using the stamp on a block. Sorry about the jiggling of the camera with doing this. If you wanted a whole set of cards that were exactly the same, or this stem in exactly the same place, then you could use Stamparatus, which is the stamp positioning tool, which I use for lots of things. I just was being a bit lazy and not getting it out today to do this, because I'm only doing 5, and it really it's not essential that they are all exactly in the same place. So I've got 2 more to do, so I'm stamping 2 cards. I will close up my pad because I am notorious for pushing cards into an open pad or getting my fingers all inky, so I take precautions along the way. One of the things that I do also is to clean my stamp. I have our Stampin' Chamois. I swear by this. It's absolutely great, especially if you are using Stamparatus, actually. You just wipe the stamps across it, and hey presto, it's all gone. I keep it in just an ordinary plastic bag, and that just keeps it moist, so it's ready to use all the time. So now what I'm doing is, in order to create the daisies, I'm doing tone on tone stamping. So this is Seaside Spray, and I have stamped it with Seaside Spray ink. Then what I do is I take my trusted bone folder. I'm sorry, having stamped it, I then of course punch it out using the daisy punch. With my bone folder, I just slightly bend the leaves here on each one, and I always cut out two. It gives far more body and dimension to the daisy. Little bit more realistic, though we're not really going for realism here. And I use mini glue dots to stick these two together. So on the front of one of them, that's going to be at the back, I just put glue dot. Hope that remains in shot. Sorry about that. My eyesight is not the greatest, so sometimes I have to hold things a little weirdly. And then I just offset each of the petals and put that down like that. I then take Stampin' Dimensionals, and what I'm going to do actually, what I'm going to do is on the back of this, I'm going to put the Stampin' Dimensional. Before I put it on the card, I'm actually going to stamp the smile sentiment. And this one is Seaside Spray. So let's put those to the side for a moment. With red rubber, this is another reason why it's great to use a stamp apparatus, to make sure you get things straight. So I do usually I eyeball, but I use my grid pad. This is a great accessory to have. And I've used this one quite a bit now, so I do know, oops, it wasn't quite straight. So I'm getting the angle at which I need to hold it to get it straight. And you know, to be perfectly honest, with a sentiment like this, if it's not perfectly straight, it's not the end of the world, because it in itself, the S I think goes down below the line, and so you know, even if it's not perfectly straight, it really is okay. Handcrafted does not mean perfect. So I'm going to get my chamois out again, and it looks like it's stamping on it, but it's actually just because it's wet, it's pushing the imprint into the water. You can see that the chamois is dirty, but that's absolutely fine. It doesn't affect how well it works. And just every so often I give it a rinse under the tap, but that ink will never all come off. Then what I'm going to do is take the backing off this, place this kind of where I want it, on here, get the effect that I want, kind of there, I think. And then in the center, I'm going to take one of the faceted dots, and I'm going to use my Take Your Pick. Actually, it has actually this is better. Take Your Pick is, oops, I can't see it, it's not in camera. The Take Your Pick is a great tool. Lots of end pieces that you can use for different applications. So just going to put that there in the middle of that, give it a bit of sparkle, give it a bit more dimension. Now, I am not a huge one for bling, but I'm really loving this matching bling. So you can see that in the other ones I used them all slightly differently. This one I used it dropping just down teardrops from the petals. This one I cut off one of the petals as if it was falling and had a bit of bling there. This one I actually messed up and got a daub of green ink. So bling can be great for covering up mistakes. And here, as I was putting them on, I decided to try 3. The smallest of these is quite large, so I think this would be more effective if they were smaller. But the second one was a bit of an angle, so I thought, well, just make the third one at an angle. So when you make mistakes, you can just turn them into design features. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. And one of the things that I'm thinking that I could do on here is take one of the little ones and just yeah, come on, and put it on the dot of the eye, just for fun, just because I can, you know, just little things like that. You can just do them. And then what I did was on the inside of each one, I've cut a strip. It's just an inch wide, or 2.5 centimeters wide. The card is half an A4, so it's about 14.85 centimeters. And so this strip, I've just cut it about 2 millimeters shorter than that, so that it doesn't, so it will clear, it doesn't bunch up in the fold there. I use liquid glue so that I have wiggle room when I'm trying to place something like this. So I just put a bit of glue on the back here. This is extremely useful and versatile glue. If you leave it to dry, it becomes repositionable, and also it won't squidge out. So if I'm adhering delicate dies, I always use this and put little dots everywhere. So I'm just eyeballing this. I'm just giving it 2 or 3 millimeters rather in from the edge. If I were really anal about it, I could measure it, or I could just do it on my grid paper, but I can't see all the way across the grid paper anyway. Just push it down, that glue will spread out to the edges underneath without coming out. Another thing I love about it. And there it is. Absolutely so simple. And, you know, it's just repeat the process. So this one, the fourth one, is terracotta tile. So just taking the stamp of the daisy, jiggling the camera as I do it. One of the things I do know is that because of the shape of the orientation, I should say, of the punch, you do need to get this here, that point pretty much going down to the bottom, or else you'll struggle to actually cut it out. And just do another one, because we want to. So again, this is tone on tone. This is terracotta tile card with terracotta tile ink, and I love it. And so that I don't get the ink everywhere before I carry on, I'm going to wipe my stamp. And just, if you know, this will eventually dry a bit, and I just rinse it again under the tap, and all is well. So our punches are really good quality and they punch firmly. This one is quite a because it's punching all of those petals, it actually needs good amount of pressure. So what you do, if you can see this in camera, you line it up around the stamped image. If you put slight pressure on it, that will hold it in place so that you can get it, so that you can actually punch it. And then do the same thing again. You need to get these in place. And you get this you get this kind of little edge around it, which is rather nice. It sort of offsets it, gives it that added little something. So again, I take my bone folder, just curl each of those petals just a tiny bit. It's a very delicate touch that I'm doing there with it. And then I take my Stampin', my mini glue dots rather, on there, and I've got a bit of a tail here, so I just tear that off. Take this, put that together, take the Stampin' Dimensional, put it on the back. These are regular size Stampin' Dimensionals, and we also do mini dimensionals. So if you are wanting to raise up something that's much smaller, you saves you cutting up these. Excuse me. And then we bring in our card again. Oh, please excuse me. And we take our sentiment, stamp it just here. We're getting to routine. Put things away, wipe this. I'm less likely to get ink everywhere if I do that. And then here is this. And I'm going to take the backing off the dimensionals, put it here. Take that, now I've lost my pick, here it is. Take the terracotta tile, not good for it. These are already glued, so you don't need to worry about how to stick those bit of glue on the back. And on this one, perhaps I'll do what I did on the other one, which was just to put a little, perhaps just a little teardrop coming down. Oops. Oh, come off. You don't want to come off. Sometimes, especially when you're on camera, they just don't want to play. There we are. Just place those, just eyeball them. That's how to do it. And then a little piece of paper. This is one of the other designs. This one is script. Again, we do it with Tombow multi-purpose glue. This is so versatile. It's an absolute must-have in the adhesive stash, as far as I'm concerned. This is script, so it has a way up, so let's see if we can get it the right way up. And then let's just put it on the side here. See what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Okay, so here we go. Oops, not quite straight. And you know, if a bit of glue does squeeze out, it's okay. It dries clear, and you can just wipe it away. There we are. 5 beautiful new in colours: terracotta tile, seaside spray, rococo rose, pretty peacock, and purple posy. Absolutely beautiful. Complement each other. Put all of these together with envelopes in. We sell the envelopes in one of our acetate boxes or a box you make yourself. Beautiful gift. All the new in colours are coming on June the 4th. At the moment, I'm not able to get Purple Posy in the ink pad because they've had some quality issues, and one of the things Stampin' Up is really hot on is quality. So that should be coming soon. But you'll be able to buy these as a set. We give 10% off when you buy the set. I believe they come in at 31 something, 31.50 probably. So stop back on June the 4th and stock up on your new ink colours. Bye for now.